I was so undecided about going that I didn't start with the rest of the class. And so Dean Griswold invited all 12 of us to his home to ease the transition. I was not among them. That was a terrible omission on my part. So I arrived in the first week of October, I guess. Of course, there was no housing for the 12 of us who arrived in a class of whatever it was, 250. So I was living with a roommate who was getting her graduate degree in economics. The first class I went to, I wasn't used to how the law school was set up. So I went into a civil procedure class. There were questions and attempts at answers by the students. And then finally the bell rang or something, and everybody picked up their books and left. And I said to the guy next to me, "Well, what is the answer?" And he looked at me as if I were nuts. There's no answer in law school. You just have questions. The guy next to me and I would chat before and after class. That was fun. Then we came back after Christmas, and that was an empty seat because he had been called back into the war. So there was the guy on the aisle and me in an empty seat, and the guy on the aisle's name was Frederica Brenneman. It resulted in a marriage 4 months later. I think only once did a professor, and I can't think of his name, he was a property professor, great repute. He said, "Would somebody close the window? We don't want the little family in the back row to catch colds." That's the only time I think we were ever recognized publicly as being married at law school. Langdale Hall didn't have any bathrooms for women, so you had to have a pretty good bladder because you had to go down the basement just to get in the tunnel that went underground to Austin. After law school, I did a variety of things, short term because Russell was in the Army and moving around. And then after I had Amy, my third child, I was offered a chance to be named to the juvenile court in Connecticut. And I didn't know anything about court work or juveniles except my own three, but it turned out to be a perfect fit. And then all the courts in Connecticut merged into one superior court, of which juvenile was just one assignment. So I got this huge promotion without moving a finger. And then, of course, I had to move around and do other assignments besides juvenile, but that was always my preference. Well, from my own personal experience, public service is the only thing that really excites me. A lot of Harvard lawyers go to Wall Street and become enormously wealthy, and that's fine. But I think the satisfaction, at least to me, is digging into a difficult situation and trying to find a solution that'll satisfy everybody, particularly your client. And I think dealing with people who are poor and who are unfortunate, I think there's more satisfaction in what you can give them.